Good evening everybody, welcome along to the channel. Hope you're all doing well, hope you're having a good weekend so far. Today we are back in RaceRoom Racing Experience and we're going to be taking a look at the Deutsche Tourenwagen Meisterschaft, or the DTM, throughout the years. So we're going to look at each individual season as such, which is displayed within RaceRoom Racing Experience, and we're going to drive each one up until the present day, which is, as of just yesterday, released the DTM 2021 season, which is a bit of a controversial season because they've now switched to GT3 cars, but we'll get onto that later. So we're going to give those a rip later on as well and see how they go. And of course, as you can see on the screen in front of us here, we have a Ferrari involved in all that as well, so that's something to look forward to later on. But we're going to start off at the very early days and then go all the way through and give our thoughts on the cars as we go on. So let's jump into the game now and get started with our first season. So here we go, getting it all set up on here. Put myself in there as well. Okay, so here we are. We are at the DTM 1992 season as the first one on our list for this evening, and we've got a good choice of cars to go with here, haven't we? So I know the M3 and the Mercedes 190 Evo are synonymous with DTM from the Group A era, which is what we're looking at here. But I'm actually going to go with something slightly different for this one. So I'm actually going to go with the Audi instead. We've driven the Mustang GT in the past, and it sounds amazing. It's worth driving if you haven't yet already done so. Same with the Opel Omega as well. But we are going to run the Audi in this one. So we'll take the number 44 Hans Stuck car. So what we're going to do, excuse me. What we're going to do is we're going to do a series of 5-lap races in each of the seasons as we go through the DTM seasons in RaceRoom. Don't worry, we're not going to go through every single year from 92 to 2002 because we could be here for quite a while. There are actually gaps in the RaceRoom content list, so but we will go through every one that's on RaceRoom. So here we go. Let's start this off. First off, we're going to go to Hockenheim to start us off. We'll do a standing start because that suits these cars better. And yeah, so here we go. Let's load into this now. So how are we all doing? Hope you're all well. Good to have you with us. Welcome along to the channel if you're new here. Welcome. Hope you enjoy your time with us and having a look at some DTM machinery in all its forms, really, because you're going to see how quickly things have progressed in the world of DTM, from humble beginnings, such as these Group A cars that we're going to be jumping into now, through to the kind of the V8 touring cars, through to the Class 1 regulations, and then finally, ultimately, at GT3 spec cars. So things change considerably throughout the years, so it can be interesting to see how they all go. So here we are. No qualifying, we're just going to jump straight into the race, so it's going to put us 18th on the grid. So let's see how we get on. H-pattern gearbox, of course, in the Audi. 4-wheel drive as well, which will help off the line, hopefully. Let's see how we get on. Ready for the lights to go out. Up they go and away we go. 4-wheel drive certainly helped off the line that time. Goodness. It's almost embarrassing going down to the first corner. AI all over the place. Come on. There we go. Already made a ton of places. We're up into the top 10 already. The Audi is quite a fun car to drive. Cheers, Marty. How are you doing? Welcome, Raymond. How are you feeling? I hope everyone's well. Yep, doing good. Been a while since my last stream. Happy video as always. Oh, that's awesome. Good to have you with us. Welcome back. Down to the hairpin we go here at Hockenheim. It turned in. AI having a bit of a moment into there with the Mercedes ahead of us. A bit of a run off there as well, so that's going to help. Just turned in on us as well. Uh-oh. Stop. Oh, just about. Getting up to the pointy end of the field a little bit here. We got a bit left behind that section there, obviously due to our error. I have played with a bit of rate, so hopefully this is smoother for you since the last time we were here at Hockenheim. Hopefully it's not chopping around like it was last time. Yeah, I know I got the track. Sorry, rFactor. I know it's four-wheel drive, but it doesn't mean we have to turn it into a rally car. Oh, we're being dropped like a stone from the guys ahead. Let's try and bring that back in again. First corner here at Hockenheim is always tricky to carry the speed through that. Okay, get it turned in on the brakes as well. It's trailing it into the apex quite nicely that time. We have pulled some time back. We're 1.8 back. Let's see if we can rein that back in again. A bit of a gap behind us now as well to the other Audi that's behind. On the rev limiter. There are 6 gears, thankfully. Otherwise we'd be sitting on the rev limiter for quite some time. Down to the really slow hairpin. Turned out of there nicely. And we've pulled the gap down to 8/10. So much quicker through there than the cars ahead. Bit of a cut there. I do like these 92 cars. They are really nice to drive. They move around quite a bit as well, so you get a good feel for the weight of the car on the road and how they move through the corners. A bit of a wobble mid-corner down to the Sachs curve. Quite a tricky corner to get right. You've got to really catch the camber and not light it up on the exit like we did on the first lap. So they definitely seem to be a little bit quicker than me through this final section. And they pulled back another second on us through there, but we know where we're quicker, so we need to try and make that work for us. Oops, missed. Right, come on, let's try and calm things down a bit here and just try and sort ourselves out. I love you can get into some kind of four-wheel drifts in this thing. You just kind of just plow on through the corners and it'll just keep pushing forward. It's really quite fun to drive. Probably not the quickest way of doing it, but it is excellent fun. Yeah, 6 to 3rd. Not the ideal choice of gears when you're at that kind of speed, but it's still going. Right. Flat out through the kink. Slightly better line through there that time. So somehow need to find some speed through the stadium section. Use the four-wheel drive on the exit, that's better. Okay, so we didn't lose as much this time. It's always a bonus. A little bit late on the apex there, but we are making some ground on the car ahead here. Looks like another M3. Turn 2 on the sausage curbs, of course. Hey GSM Dad. Shame DTM has gone GT3. Yeah. Much as we love GT3, it's kind of taken away the uniqueness of the series. No, you're not dissolved. It's fine. I completely agree. It's a shame that they've had to go down that route, but then with manufacturers not being particularly committed to creating a specific type of car for the series, I guess they had their hand forced a little bit to go down that route to keep the series alive, but it is a shame. There's enough GT3 racing going on. It's a bit weird because obviously there's already the ADAC GT Masters series in Germany, which is GT3 spec, so essentially you have two top-class GT3 series running parallel to each other in Germany, which is a bit of a strange move. Well, we've managed to pull the gap back in here again. Shame we've got one lap left after these last few corners, but see if we can make some more positions up as we go. M3 hopping over the curbs in front of us. Yeah, you're right, Raymond. It is all about the economics, unfortunately. It's a unfortunate situation, but at least there's still a series, I suppose. It'd be a shame if DTM was consigned to the history books. Right, final lap. Let's see if we can at least grab this M3's position in front of us here. Even if it is a bit of a lunge into the hairpin. Completely all on the wrong line going into that left-hander there, and just kept the throttle down to try and pull us out of trouble. But we have dropped a bit of a gap to the guys ahead. Oh, except they're all battling, so that might help our cause. Well, on the brakes on the exit, that's going to help us. Here we go. That was potentially going to get very messy. Oh no, the M3's back up inside us again. No! Come on, we got the inside line here, we've got to keep it. No, he's just going to hang out around the outside. Brilliant. Okay. We'll try and repay the favour around the Sachs curve. No, that's not going to happen. Especially if we not do that. AI are too strong to the last section of the lap. Couldn't hold on to that. Never mind. P9 anyway. And that's our first race done and dusted, and that's in the DTM 92 cars. Back when there was a significant variety of cars. We've got a Mustang behind us, M3s, 190 Evos, Audis, and an Opel Omega in there somewhere. But brilliant cars, really love them, and they drive nicely on RaceRoom too. Look at that, the Opel right up there in P2. Oh, lying. So there we go, first season in the books in the DTM class. So moving forward to the next season, what we're looking at here. So we go forward 3 years, and this time we don't get the full series to play with. We don't have, unfortunately, the Calibra or the Alpha or whatever else was running in that time. We do have, though, the Mercedes AMG C-Class from 95, which is a bit of a Bobby Dazzler, this thing. It's so good. Let's see, what should we go with here? Anyone hungry? Let's go with the Dime one, shall we? Right, so we'll clear those and we'll get ourselves a grid full of these Mercedes. 133, because that's just the overkill. So we're going to have some repetition, but nevertheless, that's all fine. Right, so we'll continue with our DTM theme, and we will do a selection of German circuits this evening, or circuits that the DTM would run on. So that can include Brands Indy, because they did run there. Red Bull Ring, I'm sure they've run out as well. But for now, we will go to the Nürburgring. We'll go to the fast chicane version of the Grand Prix circuits, and we go again. All right, Marty, I haven't tried RaceRoom yet, haven't you? I thought you had. It's definitely worth giving a go. Even if you just go in and do the test drive, it's worth downloading, see what you think. The Racing Humble Bundle is a pretty good deal, though. I've seen a few people posting about that with the various top titles in there. People have been giving them away because they've only wanted one thing from that particular bundle. So yeah, it looks like quite a good deal. It was fun actually, Raymond. Yeah, it was good. Kind of thought I was going to get left behind in the start, but we managed to pull them back in again. Yeah, this thing, the D2 livery is just, yeah, peak, isn't it? It's just perfect DTM car. Right, so we're starting a bit higher up this time. We're in P7. And this time we now sadly ditch the H pattern for the rest of the evening. We're on to paddles now. So this is where things get a little bit more advanced compared to the Group A cars. With a V6 engine under the bonnet. And a bit more of a space framey, prototypey type design. And away we go. Dario's coming over on me, trying to force me out to the outside. Bumping and barging in the inside. AI getting a bit aggressive into the inside there. Now the inside line belongs to us and try and keep it. Leader's getting away. Can't have that. Ooh, hello. Steady on. Don't know about you, but the AI aggression has definitely increased since the recent patches. I've not changed anything on my end, but they certainly seem to be not shy in getting into each other, and me. Jan Magnussen flying at the inside. Once again, we have to try and get ourselves used to this car now. A bit different to the Audi. The Schumacher S is not flat. Well, at least not yet. Hey Boudreaux, elbows out, yeah, absolutely. And this time not from me. Okay, we can probably break a bit later for that fast chicane. Do love that version. But this thing, in comparison to the Group A cars, this has got so much grip mid-corner. Once again, first lap we're getting left behind. It's almost as if they have much warmer tyres on the first lap than I do. Bit of TC kicking in there, we'll drop that setting down. Something we didn't have to worry about in Group A days. Okay, that's not how wide you can run it out of there. You can never be too sure between different sims as to how much of a runoff on the outside of that corner you can take. Whoops. There's a bit of grass. Because some are a bit more lenient through there than others. We are very much a bit of a roadblock at the moment though. It's getting feisty behind in the mirror to see some action going on. Oh, it's definitely not flat, even with a little bit of a lift there as well that time. AI coming up behind me, flashing their lights at me. Just drive around the outside. Oop. Well, the DTM is known for some pretty robust touring car action, and you're certainly seeing that this evening as well. AI definitely quicker than I am. Bit of a bump and run, sorry. Just returning the favour. So that was nice trim there, I backed out of that. The way they're driving, probably should just get my foot in. Hello. All over me there. Like, trying to latch onto the back of this one ahead. Yeah, so he definitely has an awful lot more mid-corner grip than I do. Oops. But despite being comprehensively destroyed by the opposition here, this particular car is very nice to drive as well. It's got enough level of grip to make it nice and quick through the corners, but you still need to drive it without just being turn the wheel and slam the throttle down. You've got to have a little bit more input into it to try and get it through the corners safely and quickly. Afterburners too, yeah, no kidding. They're up and gone. We have to just turn the AI down just a click or two on the strength. So quick through that. And I guess that's why they call it the fast chicane. Okay, penultimate lap. Go over to the right hand side and try and keep it as far left as we can there to open up the run out of there, but when you hit the curb on the inside and the traction control kicks in, it does stop your progress slightly. So now, having turned off, well, not off, but turned down the traction control, watch me promptly spin it out of the hairpin. This, of course, is back in the day when traction control was okay to have in DTM. Some of the later series we're going to be looking at later on, traction control is not even a thing. They're not allowed to have traction control, so that makes it a little bit more of a exciting drive for those behind the wheel. All of a sudden there's a whole lot of cars appeared up front there, which I'm sure they were much further ahead than that before. Something must have gone on. Not that it's going to affect us too much. Too far back at this moment in time. Hit the AI behind flashing its lights at me, yeah. They're impatient little people. There he goes, flashing again. Trying to put me off. It worked. Ah, cheeky little computer. Send it. Had a bit of a flinch then, thought I was going to go for the inside. Slip back to P8 now. Here we go, down to the hairpin for the final time. of course, just standard default setup in this as well, so it's got a little bit of understeer at the moment, but I'm sure that's something you could dial out. Plenty of setup options in these DTM cars. Ooh. Let's at least try and hold on to our 8 before the end of this one. Yeah, Magnussen behind has also got a bit of a run. It was quite imposing, that barrier stop on the inside as you come around that final corner. It's so easy to clip it. But there we go. So that's that one done. P8 after that. Had a decent start, but ended up going backwards as the AI absolutely destroyed us. That's the DTM 95 Mercedes, which is a really good car to drive. Actually, worth having a go at. Okay. What's next? So 95, we then jump forward a whole decade almost to 2003. And staying with the Mercedes, because that's the only one we have with the 2003 season. So this is the later version of the C-Class, where we switch to V8 power. Again, not many to choose from, but some iconic liveries in here again. The Vodafone one, of course, with Bernd Schneider, DTM legend. Who else we got on here? Gary Paffett, DTM champion as well. What should we go with this one? Let's go with one of the original Tyler cars. We'll go with Bernd Maylander, whoever he is. Right. Where should we go with this one? I reckon we take this to the Norris Ring. Very popular German track. We need to clear our opponents. We'll have them as DTM 2003. This one. Okay. My number on that. All right, so pardon me, I'm just going to pop that down. It's not far off, actually. We'll try 102. We can always put it down a bit more if we need to. Right, so Norris Ring, short little street circuit, always absolute carnage at turn 1. There's been a few dodgy moments at the final hairpin as well. And then, of course, there's the infamous wall as well, which is all too willing to catch you out if you go a little bit too enthusiastically through the left-hander in the middle chicane section of the lap. So we've got to keep ourselves away of that. Here we go. Where are we starting here? 11th for this one. Okay. Field full of Mercedes-Benz. Some blue ones front and left of us. Okay. On the outside, going to turn 1 at the Norris Ring. Oh dear. Here we go. Typical Phil race room start, as in not great, but we're up and away. Cars fanning out, no ABS, so need to be careful. Ooh. Somehow, it looks like we've all managed to get through turn 1, just about. A bit of a scrape, but... Boink. Sorry. This time the chaos happened at turn 2. So we've blocked the track, so that secured our top 10. Goodness me, this car is so different to drive compared to the 95 car. So, seemingly no ABS either, obviously. I think we had ABS with the 95 car. So we've got to be super careful on the brakes. And also, just as careful on the throttle. Got to brake earlier for turn 1. So, through this middle section here. Get it turned in, keep it as right as possible. Try not to take it out to the wall. Yeah, I know. Shocking, isn't it? Obviously wouldn't do that against real life drivers. Not that it's okay to do that to AI drivers, but it happened. Ooh, somehow it's at the fastest lap too. Right, let's back this braking point up. So much more loose coming off the corners. We've got a lot more potential for oversteer, especially out of the really slow stuff like the hairpins. But even through here, you've got to be quite careful with how much throttle you apply and when. Little bump and turn. Yeah, just helping him around the corner. Doing him a favour on the early laps. I thought I was going to have another one then. Luckily he got out of the way for us to turn around him. And all of a sudden we're right on him, so just taking down the AI one touch has all of a sudden brought them right back to us again. Two for the price of one. Just up to P4. Right, can we get ourselves a podium then? Albeit a bit of a cheaty podium by slowing them down, but oops, too quick into that. 5 laps around the Norris ring is not going to take very long. We're already on the penultimate lap, so we've got one more to go. Just over a second to Jean Alesi ahead of us. Not anymore. Now there's only 3/10 to John Alesi in front of us. Right, no DRS yet, so we just have to rely on good old-fashioned slipstream to kind of get up alongside this guy ahead. Another fastest lap, and he's going to brake nice and late for the hairpin, but I'm just going to ease off the brakes and just roll straight on, if that's okay. Not the kind of final lap move you were hoping to make in your mind. And with that area there, obviously you've got the wall, and then you have the curb that you're going to go over as well, which actually pulls you up even closer to the wall, so you've got to account for that. So there we go. Quickly through the race. And we've gained ourselves a P4 out of all of that. Could have been a podium if I hadn't have eased off the brakes too much. Should have been something more like that. But there we go, that's the 2003 car, which is a very different experience to the previous iteration in 95. You'd have thought that by going eight years further into the future that you might actually have a more grippy, capable car in the world of DTM, but in fact it's almost the opposite. You have more oversteer and more of a difficult driving experience, but still good fun to drive anyway, nonetheless, as my computer control takes over blocking the track. But there we go, so 2003, a nice car. We're going to skip forward 2 years from this point and go to 2005. So just the next generation of Mercedes C-Class for this next outing. So again, we've got the usual suspects in here. So we'll go with Berndt's car this time around. Got to use the Vodafone livery. Let's apply our 2005 spec cars. There we go. Right, so where should we go now? Den Hockenheim to Nürburgring to Norris Ring. Ooh. Now, okay, I don't know the Lausitz Ring. I know it's bad. I should do. But I have no idea where I'm going around here. So that could be fun. We'll just have to follow the AI and hope we don't kill anymore. Right. Let's give it a go. Could possibly go wrong in a car you've not driven for a while and a circuit you don't know. Yeah, part of the course here at Sim Racing Bar. We just try these things and see what happens. So, sometimes you like the noise ring, really simple and fast, perfect for GT type racing. Yeah, no, it is. It's a very simple layout, and sometimes simple layouts work the best, don't they? They actually provide some of the most entertaining racing. So yeah, Norris Ring's a good circuit. Very challenging, despite its short length. Okay, so Norris Ring then. Let's go learn. Thankfully, we're towards the back, so we can't really lose too many spots. Right, here we go then. First lap, case of follow my leader. Very different V8 sound from this one. You can hear them reverberating off the walls here at the Lausitz Speedway, which is essentially a roval track, I suppose you could call it. AI's struggling to sort themselves out into turn 1. Where are we going here, guys? Everywhere by the looks of things. So we have a series of sweepers to start us off. Just get progressively slower. And then we get onto the back straight of the oval. This sound good. Saw these cars in action from real life down at Brands Hatch from this era, and the Mercedes definitely. Oh, someone's had a bit of a moment, and someone's had another moment further on. AI are definitely struggling. They're not normally this inconsistent with their driving. Maybe they're taking a leaf out of my book. But yeah, the Mercedes was definitely one of the best sounding cars in the DTM that year. They have a real high-pitched shriek of a V8 sound when they went past you. Incredible noise. Now we've lost touch and we don't know where we're going, so we've got someone behind us, we'll have to let him through. We're just driving like a rally stage, but without the co-driver, so we're just basically driving to what we can see in front of us. Freebies are okay. Yeah, they are. We'll take them. Especially when we don't know where we're going. So the 2005 is one of Mike Smith's favourite in RR. Is that Mike from Racing 604? I'm not sure of his last name, but... It's deep into turn 1. Okay, well the layout doesn't seem too bad in terms of us trying to get around in one piece. There's the rear end trying to break away from us out of there. Hey, Funky. Yeah, all good, thank you. Hope you are as well. See if there's any more freebies to pick up. Not this time round. The thing is, I remember driving around the Lausitz ring in way back in the day. I think it was Toga Race Driver 2 or something similar. And I actually remember really enjoying the circuit, but for some reason I have such a vague memory of how it actually went. And I don't know if this is actually anything like how it was when I drove it, so I don't know whether the layout's changed or anything. So I'm fully expectant not to have an amazing result here. It's more just about experiencing the car and having a bit of a race with whoever we can get anywhere near. Okay, well that's 2 laps in the book, so we haven't completely killed our car or anyone else just yet. Although there is still time. This section is actually quite fun. It kind of snakes its way through here and gets progressively slower and then fires you back out onto the oval. That's quite nice through there. I'm sure we'll get used to it as we get to the end of lap 5. Bump. Don't have that kind of cornering speed around there, goodness. We are up on our best lap though, so that's, I suppose, all we could ask for. This is another quick-ish right-hander. Long corner. Got Bernd Schneider all over the back of Bernd Schneider here. Seeing double. Definitely getting more of a understanding of the layout now, so start to push a bit more. Funky, I love Croft in Toka 2. Not sure if the track is available anywhere else. It is on rFactor 2. Not as official content, but as a good modded version. I'm trying to think where else it is. I think that there are versions available for Assetto Corsa as well. I've got it on Assetto Corsa actually. It's quite a fun track as well, Croft. And obviously when we get the new touring car, the new British touring car title, which is supposedly coming out this season, this year, that should obviously have Croft in it. I'm unsure as to what kind of title that will be yet, but excited to see how it turns out nonetheless. Definitely need to be a bit more patient on the throttle out of there. I have to defend on the inside here. So we're getting a bit feisty up ahead as well, slowing themselves up, so that brings them back to us quite happily. No such thing as getting a bit of a cutback on the exit there. Not with their cornering speeds. Right, this is going on to the final lap then. Can we break into the top 20? Getting a little bit sideways over the curves. Ooh. Well, that's one. There's our top 20 if we can hold it. Our head went a bit wide into there then. Try and stick with them, see if we can pick up one more spot before the end. I'm going to make a Hakkinen sandwich at the moment. It's better. A little bit more patient on the throttle, not running off on the exit. And you got sideways, this might be our chance. We might be able to throw it at the inside here into this right-hander. It's just going to turn in on us, and then that pushes the other guy up. Oop. Have we got him? We've got him. A little bit wild into the last section there, but... Ooh. And slam on the anchors as soon as you cross the line. That was actually quite fun. Quite enjoyed that, actually. I'll have to do more laps around the Lausitz ring. It's actually quite nice to drive. I might have to revisit that later on. AI car can't do turn 1. Just turns straight into a concrete block. Brilliant. Okay, so that's 2005 done. Marty, I only have 234 tracks in Content Manager for AC. Only 234, Marty. I think you're trying hard enough, to be honest. that's impressive. Well done. Yeah, there's plenty out there for Assetto Corsa. There's so many tracks that you can and cars that you can download and install, and usually have a good time driving. So that's good. Right. So now we skip forward into the next decade of cars, and this is where we have more of a consistent run in terms of seasons in racing. We go from 13 through to 16. So DTM, this is when they brought out the DTM Experience as a separate title back in the day. And so now we have the complete DTM championship. We have the Audi RS5, the BMW M3, and of course the Mercedes C-Class from 2013. So the year that BMW actually joined DTM again. It was Mercedes, Audi, and Opel for quite a while, and then BMW joined the party. So I reckon we take the BM for this one. Who should we go with? So many cool cars to choose from here. I quite like the Deutsche Post livery of Timo. Is that Glock? It is Glock. Right. Clear that, and we will select, where has it gone? DTM 13. All right, so where should we take these ones? Not sure if they race there or not, but I'm tempted to go to Zolder. Don't know whether that was on the calendar, but nevertheless, we shall give it a go. Need a Trek, actually. I don't know whether... don't think these ones have DRS yet. I think that's later in DTM timelines. Don't think it happened in 2013. But I shall push the button and find out. I think it may be there, I'm not sure. Again, this is the next specification of cars for the DTM Championship. We've had the Space Room silhouettes, and this is a new set of regulations altogether. So here we go then. This time we're a little bit further back as well, P19, and the driver's sat right back alongside the A-pillar of the car, so good weight positioning. Makes for a very long view out the front of the car. And away we go. Down towards turn 1 here at Zolder. Quite a quick turn 1 as well. On the brakes in front of us. Okay, a bit of a run out there. Nice chrome Mercedes in front of us on the left. Understeer galore. It's got retaken into there. What rim am I using? I'm using the Formula Carbon. Let's wait for everyone to kind of sort themselves out in front of us there. Sparks flying in front of us. There's loads of curb on the inside of that second part of that chicane. So now compared with the 2005 and 2003 cars, we now all of a sudden have a lot more grip again. The door was closing there. A late cut to the inside, but elbows out. Okay, we have got DRS. Good job I mapped the button. We have 3 uses of it apparently. And unlike Formula 1, you can use DRS wherever. Although probably still advised not to do that on the corners. A long way back there, but... Ooh, hello. And later on the brakes, that worked. So we can keep ourselves close to this BMW ahead of us. We might use DRS on the run into the next hairpin. Should get a decent run out of here, hopefully. No. Okay, maybe we have to do it after the hairpin into the final chicane. Ooh, Matthias getting... Oh, it's Jamie Green, not Matthias. Right, okay. DRS is activated. So as the BMW, you can see his wing back. There we go. We're up to P15. This time, let's try and optimise our run out of here. Ooh. To get out the throttle then, nowhere to go. Yeah, much too quick for me through there. Oh, he's using his DRS. Yeah, just can't seem to keep the power down through there to kind of keep the gap close to the cars ahead, so we'll have to again use our DRS down this straight, I think. It's open. Give the compressor sounds to say that it's done so because it's activating that rear wing. And again, let's go around the outside into the final hairpin. So, final chicane, should I say. And we got him. So these cars now, in this format, are more akin to a single-seater in the way that they handle. You've got to brake with the aero, so you have to brake hard when you're at your highest speed, so that the aero has more of an effect. And then as you slow down, obviously the aero reduces, so you end up locking the brakes as you get further into the braking zone. So you've got to change your braking pressure as you get through the brake zone. Okay, let's use the DRS down here. They've got a bit of a run this time. There we go. Right, well, slightly robust, but we've got this and one more to go, and we've got 2 DRS uses left, so let's see if we can make some further inroads to the cars ahead, like this. And on the wrong side here, he's going to push us into the wall. Managed to hold on around the outside very bravely. Okay, we know where our time's going to be. Oh, just picked up some extra DRS somehow. So let's keep ourselves nice and close to these next sections and see if we can make a move on the BM towards the end of the lap. Ooh, not that kind of move. Reaching for my DRS button and I couldn't find it. Oh, we managed to scare him off the track. Hate to do that to a fellow BMW driver, but that's a P12. We're going to fight it all the way. That was fun. Good cars to drive. A lot more weight in the steering wheel compared to the other DTM cars we've driven so far. You feel a lot more of the forces through the wheel. You feel a lot more of the tyres across the surface and the weight transfer and things as well. So yeah, very nice to drive. You can really control some of the slides off the corners. They're not unstoppable, and you can't get them back once you let go of it. So yeah, good cars to drive. Nice sound as well. And good racing too, which is always a bonus. So very good. Right. Finish that one off, end up in P12. So just catching up what you guys here. So Funky's saying, I can't use mods on AC too easily run because I'm on Linux yet. Linux content manager is tricky to get working. Yeah. Taka Fuji official. Greetings from Kuala Lumpur. Welcome. Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good weekend. Thanks for joining us. Very good races, Raymond. Yeah, it was good, that wasn't it? That was a bit more involved, that one. So more of that, please. I think let's go into our next one then. So we'll go 2014 now. So differences then. Let's quick check. RS5, M3, and the C-Class AMG on the 2013. We now switch to the M4 for the BMW. RS5 stays pretty similar and the same with the Mercedes in that spec. So we're going to go with the Audi this time. And we will run Edo Mortara's livery. Let's change our opponents to 2014. Okay, where are we going to go with this one then? I reckon we actually take this one to Brands Indy. Let's do that. Not a very... when they first announced that the DTM was coming to the UK again, because they've been to Donington Park in the past, they announced it was back on the calendar to come to the UK, and they went to Brands Hatch and it's like, okay, well, Brands Hatch Grand Prix would be amazing for the DTM, and then no, it was the Brands Indy circuit. I was like, really? for the speed of the DTM cars, the Indy circuit is going to be just too small for them. But as you've seen from the Norris Ring, that's a small track and it works there. So let's go give Brands Indy a go with the 2014 era of DTM cars. So very, very similar again. There's not going to be a huge difference in this period of time as we go through. We've still got V8s, we've still got DRS, we still haven't got ABS or traction control. So handling wise, these should be fairly similar to what we just drove in the 2013 cars. So we'll see if that's actually the case or whether there are some differences. We'll keep our eyes peeled for those. So where are we going to put us on this one? P9 on the grid behind Maxime Martin and ahead of Miguel Molina. Okay. Let's see how we go with this one. On the outside again, this time going down towards Paddock Hill Bend. So here we go then. Ready for the lights to all come on and then go out. too bad. I thought I had a bit too much wheel spin there, but we've kept pace with the cars around us. Getting on the brakes mid-corner, always a great idea. Up into Druids we go. Now, I think noticeably the main difference with these cars to the last ones is the rear wings look considerably deeper. That's so quick through there. Oops. And just like that, lap 1 is done. Right, let's see if we can get the inside into paddock hill. A bit of a look. Keep off those nasty big curbs on the inside of Druids. We have got a bit of a run on the BMW though. Oh, using DRS on the middle straight here. Quite sure how quickly we take that. We certainly arrive at the braking point very quickly indeed. Right, now we'll use DRS. He's using it as well. Got a bit of a DRS train going on here. Let's use all that slipstream to turn 1 and just smash into the back of him. But we're through. Sorry. He nicely defended his line on the inside there. Timo Scheider. Oof, dear. Let's go again. DRS open. This time we'll leave ourselves some space. We don't slam into the back of him. Squirrely on the curve on the exit there. Yeah, I definitely can't carry the same speed through there. Right, DRS open again. Let's go bump drafting. There's the move. So he's going to hang on, but we've got the inside line for Druids. A bit of a run here on the other Audi. Never going to be a move on there. Might be one there though. Sorry, Matthias. A bit of a last lap lunge into the clearways. And there we go. Across the line in P5. Should have put some more laps on that. That was bubbling up nicely there. That was good fun, that actually. So you can have a good race around Brands Indy with DTM cars, despite how quickly they go. So yeah, differences there maybe. Bit difficult to say really. I mean, it's very, very similar. Same level of weight in the wheel, good feeling on the road. Again, the rear end's quite happy to go out, but you can catch the car as it goes sideways, which is very comforting. But yeah, lots of grip in the Faster as well. Again, a little bit of understeer going on there, but whether that's just relevant to how much mid-corner speed the AI cars have. But nevertheless, good fun. So those are the two DTM Experience years where they had their own separate title for it. And now we have DTM 15. So I think this time we should probably go with the Mercedes and interest of fairness. So we're sticking with, again, the RS5, the M4, and this variation of the Mercedes. So where should we go with this time? We'll go with Robert Wickens' livery for this one. Where should we go? Where should we go? Well, this time let's go back to Hockenheim. We'll do Grand Prix again. Give it a bit more of a go this time. We'll have a bit more of a race, because the shorter lap circuits tend to be over quite quickly. But what we want to do as well as this is, obviously, we're going through the years of DTM here on RaceRoom, driving every single variation of them that we have available to us, and then eventually we're going to get to the current day GT3 specification DTM cars from 2021, which was released just yesterday, and we're going to drive every one of those cars and see how they go here in RaceRoom. And there's one particular car in there which is a whole new brand for RaceRoom. So here we go. Where are we? P22. Okay, that's good. Gives us some work to do. Of course, Matthias Ekstrom's out in front, as you would expect. Right. I'll tell you, Felix da Costa to our left. Let's see if we can beat him off the line. Maybe. There's a gap there. I don't particularly want to thread my Mercedes into it. Oof. Side-by-side contact through turn 1 to the back of Antonio. Different sounds in this particular car, and I have to say I do really like the sound of this one. It sounds quite raw. Love the blips on the downshift as well. Wait for them to sort themselves out at the inside. I heard some crunches. Oop. Well, that was entertaining. We're all back on track again once more. Oops, sorry Vitali. Okay. Into the Sachs curve this time. DRS will be available. Hopefully some more time on the actual track itself will be available to me on the next lap. Here we go, DRS is open. That's, well, not open, but available to use. Let's try and use it to get up to 17th at least. One of the Mercedes ahead of us got very sideways out of turn 2. And of course everyone's using DRS, so why not? We'll join them. We're edging closer to them. One of them's on the grass. That wedge was always closing, wasn't it? But never mind. All still going. Right on the case of the Audi. Yeah, he had to turn it at some point. He turned in again, but this time I was there. So Funky said, when are we doing another Fusca extravaganza? You know what, you know you want to. Oh, if you guys are up for it, we'll do another one. We'll do another Fusca festival. I think it's on the cards. Of course we want to. Who wouldn't want to do another festival of Fuscas on AMS2? Using DRS again, this time... Oh no, are we? Oh, I think so. We haven't got it. So we'll have to wait till the next one. Tell you what, when there's no cars in the way, you can certainly brake pretty late into the hairpin. That's the thing with these more modern eras of DTM, the braking distances are very short indeed. Hey Todd, I drove the 2021 McLaren 720 this morning. It's quite nice. Yeah, we've driven the McLaren in the past. It was available in the time trial section, the competitions, I believe. And I gave it a try then. It was quite nice. Looking forward to giving it another go now. Okay, now we have DRS back again, so try and use it against this BMW ahead of us, but not if we're going to lose out through turn 1 like that. I do love the sound of this car though, it just really does have a good rasp to it. Okay, I'm not going to use the DRS out of here. We're going to use it out of the next straight as we come off this hairpin. Ooh! Wow, okay. I've not seen that happen before on RaceRoom. Don't know if you have, but there's AI. Super aggressive. I have to warn you, I've been practicing. I'm still slow though. Oh, I'm sure you're right on the case now. I have to make sure you drive at a circuit you haven't been practicing. Okay, final lap coming up. No DRS available. Let's get through here. Pick up what was just said on the chat there. So Todd says, I rate my Fusca skill level as Fuscasting. Is that frustrating? I think we should all give ourselves Fusca skill levels. I think it's got to be done. We'll rate it out of Fusca degrees of skill required to drive. So I would say this DTM 2015 car is, well, it's quite easy to drive, so I'll only give it a 2 Fuscas out of 10. 10 Fuscas being a Fusca and equivalent difficult cars to drive. Popping and banging on the overrun as we come off throttle. Very nice indeed, and hard on the power to come across the line. And here we go. P12, where we started, I think, actually, wasn't it? Was it something like that? Or were we further back? I think we were further back, actually. Yeah, we did. We made loads of places. So that's fun. So, yeah. Quick cars to drive. Lots of aero on them as well. Obviously, you've got big wings, big skirts on the side, splitters, and even aero wing mirrors at this particular point as well. But very nice indeed. Right, moving on. Next up will be 2016. This time we have an updated Mercedes body, which is quite a nice design. So we'll jump back in the BMW for this one, because this will be the last time that we have BMW DTM specific cars, because they pulled out for the next one. So what should we go with here? We'll go with Augusto Farfus shell livery. And where should we go for this one? I'm actually thinking, let's go back to the Lausitz ring, actually. Do that. Do the Grand Prix course again. I realise we're up against 2014 cars and 2015 car. Maybe why we were quicker. Oops. Right, 2016. That's what we want. Of those. Right, let's go again. So Funky, I've fallen in love with the Fuscas, as they are just so much fun to drive. Ah, we've turned you to the way of the Fusca, have we, Funky? Yeah, no, I would agree. They are actually really fun to drive. Will say. Have you watched our most recent video that we put out there, where Travis, who is my brother-in-law and works with me on Sim Racing Bible on the website side of things, Travis has a go at Live for Speed, and he's driving on a keyboard, and let's just say it doesn't particularly go to plan. But one of the comments on that video, someone said something along the lines of, "I bet he could still beat you in a Fusca." Ah, dear. Speaks so much truth. Right, where are we? P5 in our BMW. Let's see what we can do here. On the inside this time. Let's try not to get trapped. Yeah, a bit of a slower start. We got left behind, and we've got someone else going around the outside. First corner's really tight. Sparks flying everywhere. So this is actually quite a different experience to drive around here. We have a different later variant of the DTM cars than we did last time, but oops. Sorry, I have to cut across there. I was going to say, you have an awful lot more feel underneath you, and now I've got to clean those tyres off because now I have very little grip. Someone alongside us. Let's try and scrub off that dirt again. Oh dear. Left behind coming out of there. Back on Antonio's case. Let's tramline the curb on the inside. Right, well, we're in P6, let's go forward. Yeah, the sparks do look good, don't they, Todd? They do look really good. They add to the overall feeling of DTM cars, so used to seeing sparks flying off them. A nice run off turn 1. Oof. Back end's trying to come round on me then. There's a little dip as you come off that corner onto this back straight, and it can catch you out. Didn't see any notice about DRS either. Definitely one of the hardest corners on the circuit, that one. For me, anyway. It's not the breaking point for that. Got a nice shove from my misdemeanor into that. Right. Okay, well, we're with them. We're on P5. Let's see what happens into turn 1, see if we can pick up another one on the exit. We have time. Now we have DRS. Oops. That wasn't DRS, that was... that was a BOS, a big old shove. Rail driving going on here. Not intentional. I don't like to drive that way and force people out of the way. But when the AI do unpredictable things, sometimes it can't be helped. Can't keep up with that grip through there. I'm getting absolutely eaten alive down there. Have to use DRS coming out of this final hairpin, I reckon. There we go. Fully wide open. Somehow managed to avoid the front two. Ooh, wheel on the curb on the inside. Let's DRS here again. We can. There we can. Let's get involved. Use it again. You can use it 3 times in a lap, supposedly. And again, we're in P2 now. Going on to the final lap. Let's see if we can do anything about this leader. Well, that took care of him. Wouldn't mind, but I was on the brakes way earlier than him as well. Oh no. I think I may be damaged. Didn't quite feel right there. Not particularly the way I wanted to win that. Not that I have yet. Ah! Got company. Well, if I'm going to not knowing the circuit to winning, albeit with some assistance of the front bumper. There we go. Take that cone out, don't need that one. It's a win for the BMW. Right, okay, let's go on to the next one. So Frankie says, is it just me? Because I think I get too compliment in multiplayer and give too much room sometimes. It's difficult, isn't it? Really, you don't want to be the one to take someone out and cause all sorts of arguments and things. But yeah, sometimes you have to give room where room is allowed. But sometimes it's also better to give them that space and then survive to live again the next lap without being taken off and all sorts of other dramas going on. So sometimes giving a little bit too much room is advantageous, shall we say. Victorious, says Todd. Yes, victory. Right, DTM 2020. Almost up to date. This is the Class 1 regulation of DTM cars. We have now lost Mercedes, which I mistakenly put down as BMW. It was not BMW, it was Mercedes who pulled out. They decided to go and pursue other things, such as Formula E. So now we just have Audi and BMW in this particular championship. So we need to go back to the Audi again. And we'll run with Harrison Newey's livery, which is probably the better looking of all the Audis. We won't go to... Hang on, before we do that, I'll change the opponent so we're not against the wrong people. DTM 2020. There we go. Alan, welcome. Hello. Good to have you with us. Right. Well, where should we go? This time we will go to Red Bull Ring in Spielberg because the DTM 2020 series did go here. So we'll do the Grand Prix circuit and go from there. Boom Bits and Racing. Hi. Hello. Welcome. Good to have you with us this evening. Hope you're enjoying a bit of RaceRoom DTM action this evening. You started RaceRoom today, did you, Boombit? Excellent. Well, welcome to the RaceRoom group of enthusiasts. We like RaceRoom here at Sim Racing Bible, so you will see plenty of sim racing action on RaceRoom itself. So we're looking forward to trying out the new DTM 2021 cars very shortly indeed. So very kindly, it's put us up at P2. I obviously thought that we were safer up front, not rear-ending people. Okay, here we go. Inside run down to turn 1 here at Red Bull Ring. Now, these cars are a little bit more leery, should we say. Once again, no traction control or ABS. Oh, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, just run into me, it's fine. You go. Let's should we give that another go? Got unfairly taken out there by the AI. Obviously thought I didn't belong in second place on the grid. Let's try that again. Let's see if we can get through turn 1. The main difference with the Class 1 cars is no longer V8 powered. Okay, so we lost a place, but we've still made it through turn 1. That's good. So we're now inline 4 powered, 4-cylinder turbos to be specific. So we've still got plenty of power on tap. Rear wings are a lot thinner profile, but wider. We've got some space behind. Sounds like someone else has come a cropper into turn 1. Not us this time. So here we go. Down towards the infield section here. We're just trying to, again, get ourselves used to a new generation of DTM car, which actually seems to have even more grip than the previous one as well. What was that? Rookie AI move? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Just absolutely sent into turn 1. Last corner here at Red Bull Ring. Fun corner. Ooh, AI getting that seriously wrong. It comes back in front of us. I'll have that place back, thank you. DRS is available. So yeah, very easy to spin up the rear wheels on this particular car. But again, lovely sounds in this thing. Nice flutter on the engine as you change gear. To adjust to these brakes as well. So this is sadly the final year of the DTM cars as we know and love them before we go into GT3. Not that GT3 is bad, of course, but for many DTM will be this type of car. So it's great that we can enjoy them here on RaceRoom. DRS open. We have push to pass as well, which I've not mapped, so we could be at a bit of a disadvantage here, but that's okay. A nice run out of turn 1. We might be able to make a move up into the hairpin. In terms of Harrison decides to block us off. Nicely defended. We got the cutback. And this time we lead without taking someone out. So I feel much better about this lead. Oops. Bit of pickup on the wheel, which I can feel now, which is quite good actually. You actually feel when you've got a bit of dirt on the tyres because there's a bit of a vibration that goes on, and you definitely feel the loss in cornering grip. These DTM 2020 cars are actually really nice to drive. I was not a huge fan of them, I will be honest. When I first drove them, they just felt absolutely undrivable because they were just spinning around everywhere, and I don't know, some of this didn't quite feel right. But driving this again now, it actually feels much nicer to drive. So that's not to say that you still can't spin them, because you do have to be careful with the old right foot, but there is an element of controllability about them now. Well, Marco Wittmann's only just crossed the line, but he's got fastest lap. Really can lean on the tyres through these fast corners with this particular DTM car. Making up speed a little bit more through the last sector of the lap there. Final lap coming up. Oh, it's nice. The tyres are up to temperature and things now. You really can carry a lot of speed through the corners. It's really fun, actually. So just kind of maintaining around a second gap to second place. Slamming down the gears. Still not quite feeling like I'm maximising speed into there. It's a difficult corner to get right because Apex appears quite late and it's difficult to get it turned in. There's not many reference points to help you with turning and braking through that. There we go. Up and over the line. Swerve towards the checkered flag holder. And that's another victory for us. This time in 2020. What a car that is, by the way. That's really cool. I mean, it's a bit more involved. Obviously, you've got DRS. You have push to pass to deal with as well, if you've mapped the button, which I hadn't. But these cars really do drive very nicely, and they hold the road really nicely as well. And just you can race well with them. And obviously, the AI have their aggressive streak on tonight, but you can still, you can still drive it and race them really nicely with the AI, and yeah, good fun to drive. So there we go. So that brings us all the way up to date from 1992 through to 2020. Now we move into the newest release for RaceRoom Racing Experience, which is DTM 2021. So we now switch to GT3. So we've already had in RaceRoom for quite a while now. We've had the Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo DTM this time. We had the M6 GT3 in RaceRoom for quite a while. We've had the new AMG GT3 Evo. It's been in for not too long. 911 GT3R from 2019. Again, fairly similar with that one. New cars brought to this one. We have the McLaren 720S, which is a new car for this. And of course, we now have a new brand, a new mark for RaceRoom, which is the Ferrari. We have the 488 GT3 Evo. So very, very cool to see. So we're going to drive through these cars and I'm just going to show you what they're like compared to the previous iteration of DTM. Thanks, Raymond. That was a good win. It was good fun. Enjoyed that one. Funky says, Phil, I know the Fusca Sullen is a joke at Bathurst. It was a bit of a joke at Bathurst. Yes. How about a league, though? Ooh. A Fusca league. Well, if there's call for it, if there's people who want to do it, let me know. And we'll get it done. We'll see what we can do. It could be a bit of fun. We'll take it to all sorts of tracks, and I'm sure Bathurst will be on there if we can actually survive. Right. So I know this is going to pain a lot of people, but I'm actually going to go through and drive the ones we already know first, and then we're going to jump into the new ones. So this time, rather than doing a race, we're going to do a bit of practice on track with them. And we'll start off with the Audi. So we have Kelvin van der Linde, Mike Rockenfeller, Dev Gore, Lucas de Grassi, Nico Muller, and Sophia Flörsch as the liveries in here. So very cool Audi liveries. Quite like the Team Rosberg looking cars. Actually, they look quite nice. So we'll jump in one of those. And we'll do a single test track of this one. So we'll make sure we're doing the same lap all the way. So out of interest, because I know some of these are going to be quite repetitive, so what we'll do is we'll go to... I've lost it now. Where's it gone? Norris Ring. It's hidden over there. We'll go to the Norris Ring, short, quick laps, and we'll get a few laps on the board and then build an idea of how different the cars are over the course of a lap. So we'll do this. Don't know if I can turn... I'll clear the opponents off there. We'll have the track to ourselves in this particular instance. Let's go turn some laps in the Audi. I see some dads in for the Fusca League. Okay, all right. I'll have to give some thought as to what tracks we'll do and frequency of races and things like that. So we'll put something on the socials as well and just see if anyone will be up for it, and then we'll get an idea of how many people are interested in doing something like that. So here we go then. Let's fire up our V10. A little detail there in the fact that I've got it set so that I have to start the car every time I get in it. So I have to engage the ignition, and then I have to push the button for the starter motor. And even to the detail there, so it's not just a case of you just push the button, hold it down, and it'll just fire up and off you go. Even if you hold it too long, you get a little grindy noise, because that's what would normally happen if you turn the key in your car and the starter motor's trying to kick over an engine which is already running. You do get that grinding noise, so you actually get that in RaceRoom, which is not important to the grand scheme of things, but a nice overall touch. So here we go. Beautiful V10 soundtrack. Get ourselves up to speed and temperature here. Let's first of all turn our traction control to 3. That's about the standard for TC levels. Already, I know we're only on the outlap, but compared to the Class 1 DTMs of 2020, a lot less grip, but then aero-wise, we are carrying less. Wow, so much understeer. But the Audi interior does look very nice with its carbon vent on the right hand side there, and the dash looks very good. What we do have, of course, is ABS, being a GT3 car, so we literally can just slam the brake pedal as hard as we like. We won't have any nasty lock-up moments. Still doesn't completely disregard the opportunity of catching a wall. My goodness, get it turned in. Just slow it down a bit more for that final hairpin, I think. Thank you. Every time I go online with the Fuskers, people join. Well, it's good. Oops. Cheers, unless someone has to bring up the rear. Well, you'll be more than welcome. Right, let's try and get some kind of meaningful lap on the board here. I know we're not going to count on this one because of my excursion at the first corner, but let's try and get some representative time up on the board. It's probably just I was just going too quick into that corner, inducing the understeer, so I just need to slow it down a bit more this time. Okay, right, this time we'll set a lap. Let's get our braking point here for the 150. Still a little late on the brakes, but we are purple. Not that that's particularly difficult with the lap time we've been producing up till now. I know we're just running on default settings here and things can be changed, but it will be interesting just to see what kind of pecking order is in the DTM 21 cars. Okay, so this will be a clean lap on the board, so we'll go for one more and see if we can beat it, and if not, we'll run on to the next one. So that was a 51.5. Much better turn one. It's not quicker though. Nope, that's not going to be a quicker lap. Okay, so session best 51.5 with the Audi. Car is quite understeery if you go in too quickly into a corner, but they're just so tame compared to the, compared to the other GTM cars. They really are. They're just, yeah, they just don't have that same kind of edginess to them. But then that's nature of GT3. Okay, so that's the Audi. 51.5. Let's go on to the M6. We have three cars to choose from here. We have Marco Wittmann, Timo Glock, and Sheldon van der Linde in the Rover Racing BMW. So we'll grab Marco Wittmann's Schaeffler liveried car for this one. And we'll go again, see if we can beat a 51.5. Not my favourite GT3 car, the M6. It's just... it's quite big and it's uneventful in its sound department. It's just a bit tame. But if it's quick, who cares? Right. Here we go then. So it actually doesn't sound as bad on the inside. I think it's more the external sounds, in real life anyway, which don't really do much. It is turbocharged, of course, so that does mute some of the sound. Let's put TC down to 3. GT3 is like Fuskers rule. That's what we should do. We just suggest to the DTM championship that they just run Fuskers instead. So Norrisring, of course, was the venue for the rather controversial finale for DTM 21 in real life. There's some shenanigans at play. With title contenders taken out and all sorts of other things going on. After a bit of a sour taste in the mouth for some. TC's still kicking in. $51.8 straight out of the box. Let's see if we can lower that. Also trying to get used to the width of this thing through here. Maybe TC4 is requiring a little bit more finesse in the throttle department. Well, at least our rear tyres are warm now. Okay, let's go again. So 3/10 to find from somewhere. Not like that. So slightly better run through there that time. We did pick up a little bit of time on our quickest, but obviously we are down after our first corner runoff. Frankie says, sorry for if you like G3, I don't judge. Well, only in private. No, I don't mind. I like G3 and I like the DTM and I like Foskers, so it's all good. I like most race cars, to be honest. Not particularly picky. Okay, so we are up on our quickest time. Probably not by enough to beat the Audi, but we'll see. Just throw it all away at the last corner, why don't you? Okay, we'll give it one more lap and see if we can beat the Audi. It is there, just needs to hook it up. What I do love, actually, considering in the sound department for the BM, is this bang at every single upshift. Explosion out of the exhaust every time you change gear sounds pretty good. Okay, so that's a 51.623, which obviously we could lower. So just in that short spell of laps, about a tenth in it between the Audi and the BMW. We're just going to rattle through these first ones, which are already in RaceRoom anyway as a car, and then we'll spend some more time with the new ones. So next up, the Mercedes. So we have Maximilian Goertz, Vincent Abril, Hubert Haupt, Lukas Stolz, Daniel Junkadea, Maximilian Buch, Lucas Auer, Arjen Maney, and Philip Ellis as the options for the Mercedes. Some very cool looking liveries in here. What should we go with? Quite like Philip Ellis's blue and white look in there, I think, actually. We'll go with that one. So, yep, this so far so good in terms of content-wise. GT3s are GT3s. We know what these cars are like normally anyway. If you've driven GT3s in RaceRoom, you've probably driven these cars already. Let's see if we can beat a 51.5 with the Merc. Beautiful V8 sound coming from this one. So front engine this time, like the BM, and like the Audi, which is mid-engined. Very different driving dynamic. You have to trail front engine cars a little bit more on the brakes because you have such a heavy lump in front of you, which prevents the car from turning in sometimes. Typically a mid-engine car is a bit nicer in the way of balance, but let's see how this Mercedes goes. Already a lot sharper on the nose. Seems to get through the hairpin with very little drama at all. I'm going to turn traction control down. We'll go to option 3. Definitely looks more pointed than the BMW. Welcome, Gareth. Yes, it is definitely more pointed than the BM. Straight away down to a 51.7. Okay. A little bit of a hesitation getting on the throttle there, but it's okay. We're not too far off. Let's try and carry more speed through this section. TC just kicking in a little bit there, and we'll try and turn that down. And gaining time out of the hairpin that time as well. It's going to be a little bit slower, but not a huge amount. Okay. No, a little bit ambitious through that. So funky said, I've never driven a GT3 in my life, and any insinuation that I have will result in litigation. Not a fan. I know you like your old stuff, and that's fine. We all have our things that we like the most, so it's all good. So a little bit late on the brakes into turn 1 that time. And we are up. Okay, we see the good final corner. And that we certainly got. This might actually topple the Audi here. And that it does. A 51.4 with the Mercedes after much less laps. 6 laps, or 1 less lap, should we say. But yeah, so Mercedes so far quickest, and I would say that out of the 3 that we've driven so far, the Mercedes is the easiest to jump into and drive quickly, straight off the bat. The others might take a little bit of work to sort out. For the Mercedes, you can jump in and be pretty quick straight away because the car feels quite responsive in its default setup. Obviously, you can change that to suit your liking. So that's that. So Porsche's next, and we only have one Porsche, which is Michael Hammermüller's car. So the lone Porsche in DTM. Let's see how this rear-engine version of GT3 car compares to the others. So Bordeaux says, would they ever handbrake that turn? I think it's just about enough for steering lock to get around there without having to use the handbrake. But I do know that the TCR cars actually have a handbrake in them. I think they use it for heating up the rear tyres on the warm-up lap. But yeah, you'd think you would need a handbrake to get around there. It is super tight. Okay, 911, 6-cylinder goodness coming your way. There you go. Sound-wise, 911 is the winner instantly. Now this should be good out of the hairpins with the weight over the rear axle. It should get a good amount of traction. Front end might be a bit loose or wayward. Let's just turn TC down to 4. That's a sound, isn't it, guys? Yeah. Quite the contrast from the M6. Right. A little bit of understeer pushing us out towards the wall, which is quite a scary experience. Yeah, no, definitely the traction out of the hairpins is good. Let's see what the initial time is like. Thereabouts, 51.79. So we can improve that, we know. Not this time around though. Well, the run off the hairpin at the first corner was pretty mighty. We'll do it completely all over the place turning into that. So there's definitely time to be found out of the hairpin and also the wall corner. Actually turning in a lot earlier than I was expecting it to, so we need to be aware of that. Right, let's try and hook this lap up instead. Wow, that was impressive out of there. Look at that, 3/10 up already. Let's try not to mess this up. to the final corner. Well, this could be a good lap we're onto here. 51.381, which takes the fastest lap down even further. This time even less laps of 5 laps. So scratch what I said about the Mercedes. If you want to jump into a car and go quickly straight away, jump in the Porsche. That was very quickly down to the benchmark time. But yeah, feels good. Nice and grippy out of the corners. You can really feel the weight of the engine of the rear and just kind of helping get the power down through the rear axle. And you can get around the loose front end. It does go in. You just need to brake in the right place. Right. So those are the ones we've already seen. We already know about in RaceRoom. Let's move on. So we'll jump into the McLaren first. And we have, again, just one McLaren to choose from, with this kind of nice gold chrome livery of Christian Klein, ex-F1 driver, of course. So let's see what the Macca's like. Mid-engine again, just like the Audi. And we are going to be hopefully looking for a nicely balanced car. V8, of course. And see what this is like. I'm making homemade pizza, says Marty. Yum. Absolutely. Well, go on then. Share what's your toppings? What's your favourite topping? Make us all hungry. Okay. Are you making homemade pizza in readiness for the Ferrari? Is that what it is? Right. Let's have a listen to the sounds. Cockpit-wise, it's nice. Nice to look around. We have those mirrors on stalks out the side, though, which if you had triples, you'd probably see that. I can't, so I have to rely on the on the rear view camera. Yep. Okay. Got a nice interior. Okay. Let's unleash the Macca. So, sounds-wise, I think that sounds very much like a 720S. Okay, so I just raised my eyebrows. You probably saw that if you were watching my face at that point, but somehow this car is just... Okay. Through that middle section, it was on rails, so let's try and see if we can harness that. Super slippery design as well, very low and sleek body design, so it should be good through the air. Quite a bit better visibility out of this car, actually. I can see a lot more of the inside of that hairpin in this car. TC off. So what have we got then? So Marty, leave a slice for me, says Funky. That camera's trying to come around on the brakes then. Marty says too poor, so just cheese. Oh, that's fine. Just cheese is good. Okay. I didn't slow up as quickly as I was expecting. Oh, I was even dropping a slice in the chat. Thanks, Martin. Wow, okay. Well, that's escalated quickly. Let's try that again. So, going from what it felt like on the Outlaw with a really good front end and nicely stuck to that middle section, it's then, now I've started pushing on with it, turned into a bit of a loose cannon. It's quite skittish on the rear. It breaks away quite easily. Maybe I'm just overdriving. Let's try and throttle it back. I'll just use the walls to help me. Yeah, it's very loose on the rear end. Let's just bring that down to 3. Try and temper my right foot slightly. And the braking distance seems to be longer as well, so let's just brake here and see if we can get it stopped. It does slow up quite a lot in the latter section of the braking zone. Doesn't think you can actually get it stopped, but it does just about pull up in time. Okay, so that's a little bit neater that time. Just need to drive within the limits, I think. There we go. What's this lap time going to be? 53.1. Sorry, 51.3. Get my numbers right there. That's the quickest so far. I wasn't really trying either. It's going to be quicker again. Look at this. It's time is absolutely falling off it. Okay, so not the quickest through the final hairpin, but we are still quicker than our best lap. That's going to bring it down to a 2. Yeah, 51.238. There's the wall. That's too deep. Okay, so this car is quick. What I will say is that it's probably not the easiest to jump into and go quickly. So unlike some of the other ones where you can just jump into them and instantly be there or thereabouts in terms of pace, this one does drive a little bit differently. Bit of a slingshot off the first corner. Very pedestrian to the middle section. So there, back end's trying to slide around into the hairpin. I'm going in there too quick, I think, so if we can bring that braking point back again, I should have an even better run off that final hairpin. Nope. Couldn't get away with that in real life. lost the rhythm a little bit here. Let's try and get that back on. So, yeah, is Tail happy? Watched Jimmy in the Praga Cup earlier. Oh, okay. How did he get on? I didn't see it. Okay, that was neater out of that. There we go. And here we go into the final corner. Yeah, not the greatest run off there, but I'm sure with a bit more time we could lower that benchmark even further. So we're already on a 51.2, so we're already quite a bit up on some of the others, but there's a lot of potential in that car to go even quicker than that. Just needs a little bit of dialing in terms of my brain and how to drive it. And how to get the most out of this particularly short lap as well, but it's good. I mean, it's very different to the other GT3 cars actually in terms of its overall balance. So, I mean, they're also different. I mean, you've got rear engine, mid engine, front engine, and they've all got different weight in the different places and things. And I still maintain that even though the Porsche was the quickest to jump into, I think the Merc is probably the safest option for a new person to drive in GT3. But if you're prepared to put in a bit of time and trying to figure out how to extract the most out of a mid-engine car like the McLaren, this has got some serious pace potential right there. So that's quite impressive actually. I quite like that. It's quite a nice car to drive when you get it right. It just takes a little bit of work, I think. But that's good. So, Funky says, I'm disappointed in you, Marty. Where's the meat on the pizza? This is back on the pizza train. Well, poverty. Yeah, well, cheese is fine. It works. Alessandro, welcome. Do you like the Ferrari? Good question. We're just about to jump into that and drive that. I have had a sneaky drive before, and I will say I enjoyed what I drove, but it was only for a very short period of time, so we're going to give it a bit more of a go right now. So here we go. We have the Ferrari, brand new Mark for RaceRoom, and it's good to have the Ferrari name in the title. And two cars to choose from. We have Alex Albon or Liam Lawson's car, which we have either a Red Bull or a AlphaTauri livery to choose from, run by AF Corsa. I'm going to go with Liam and give his car a bit of a blast around here. So let's see how it compares to everything else, whether it's as quick as the McLaren or whether it's, I don't know, easy to drive as the Mercedes. We'll find out. Marty says, we're all Gen X, right? It's the boomers that have all the dosh. Yeah, well, I haven't got any. Once I sell the family farm, boom, different story. Hello, Simrig. Okay, so Ferrari. Not that we did this for everything else, but as you can see, plenty of setup options to mess around with. So here we go. We're in the 488 Evo. A quick look around. Of course, we've got the safety net on the right hand side there. So switch gear on the dash. Right. I'm assuming that mirror is underneath supported because it just looks like it's floating there. I think it has a has a little arm coming out underneath it. Right, okay. Let's fire it up. 488 V8 powered with turbocharge. There is an engine on somewhere. Just listening to the sounds here. I don't know, it doesn't seem as smoothly sampled as some cars. There's a couple of of little gaps there and things which kind of take over. And anyway, let's drive. When you're up and running, it sounds very nice indeed. Quite a violent gear change, force feedback effect in this thing actually. Oh wow. Someone say grip. Okay, well let's see how this one stacks up. Again, too quick into the hairpin, that's my fault. It's not the car. So the Ferraris were very much at the pointy end of the field in DTM last year. Cool, what a front end that's got. Except when you unload it into a corner like that. Too busy paying attention to the chat. Right. So what have we got going on here? So Funky says, see Phil, if you just run a Thusker League, we can get our social aggression out without doing it in the chat. Just take it out on the Thuskers, huh? That's too deep. Sounds like a Dyson, says Gareth. It's a very unique sound, as is that one you don't want to hear very often. Yeah, I mean, when Ferrari decided to go turbocharged with their engines for GT3 or race cars in general, you were never going to hear the same kind of lovely high revving V8 sound as you would come to expect from Ferrari GT cars in the past, and the turbocharger does mute quite a lot of the sounds, so it does sound a little bit different. Let's turn it into 4. Let's try and not hit the apex this time, as in the barrier. You can hit the apex, it's not the barrier. That's what TC4 does for you. Oh dear, it was on for a better lap. Let's try again. Let's go back to 3. Okay, let's try and get an actual time on the board. So far it's been very scrappy, so let's give it an actual chance, sorry. Not the breaking point for turn 1. Yeah, the understeer's kicking in now. Right. This should be a better lap, but it's still not going to be McLaren fast, I don't think. It's not far off, 51.35. Oh, a pretty poor lap as well. Oh, here we go. This could be a better lap. So even with the first corner not being the best, we're still 2/10 up, and that's going to be a 51.1. And the time continues to fall. Well, it looks as though this is the quickest car in the pack. 50.9 with very minimal effort, really. Once I calm myself down a little bit and stop running too deep into corners, that's when the time started to come a little bit more to it. So this car then, compared to the others, when you do get it slowed down properly, has a much better front end on it. It really does go into the corners much easier. Still have to be a little careful getting the power down, but so far it's not actually that bad of a car to drive. I mean, the sounds are a bit, I don't know, maybe not to everyone's fancy. Oops. Turn into a drifting championship through that. But that's, again, me just pushing them too hard into those corners. But the car itself is nice to drive, actually. I mean, as is the case with most GT3 cars, I mean, they're built for professional racing drivers to drive alongside slightly less experienced enthusiastic amateur drivers, and still be accessible for them to drive and enjoy and be competitive in. So there's an element of being easy to drive which comes into GT3 cars. There's the wall. But obviously when you get to the upper side of performance in terms of extracting every last tenth of a second, that's where you really do have to try and get to grips with the car handling and just generally focus and concentrate a little bit harder just to get the maximum out of it. So they do get harder to drive as you get closer and closer towards those quicker times. There's something you can just jump in and drive. GT3 cars, you know, they will provide an element of enjoyment for those who want to just jump in a car and drive quickly but still have enough of a challenge to not be just driving like it's on rails. So 488 GT3 Evo, yeah, it is a good car, and it's obviously very, very quick as well. Now I'm sure this isn't the case, but I wonder whether that's partly to please Ferrari. It's like, we'll bring you on board, but we'll make your car slightly quicker. No, I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure RaceRoom did it properly. But yeah, that's a quick car in comparison to the others. Alessandro says, what's the most easy car to drive? I'd probably go with the Mercedes as the most easy car in the DTM 2021 pack to drive. It's just watch a bit of replay from the outside and get a listen to the car. It's close. But it looks nicely modelled. I mean, it's got a... Yeah, the overall look of the car is fabulous. It sounds pretty good too. So, Funky says, if a celeb gets in the car, then insurance demands they don't die. Yes. So they got to be forgiving to drive, huh? But yeah, I'd say, Alessandro, the Mercedes is probably the easiest of the cars to drive in the 2021 DTM pack. But also, you know, you can jump in most cars. I think probably the hardest one to drive would be... I'd probably say the McLaren, actually. Probably be the most difficult car to drive. But the Ferrari is pretty straightforward too. Once you don't go too mad with it and drive within its limits. A flutter from the wastegates as it downshifts through that. So there we go. So that's pretty much rounds up our celebration of DTM this evening. We've driven everything from 92 cars through to 95 to 2003, 2005, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, and now 21. Personally, I know where my favourite DTM cars lie, and that's in the period between 13 and 20. As far as modern day DTM is concerned, but you can never look past the Group A car. They're always fun too. But I think the direction we're going in now, obviously with GT3 cars, sure, it's going to create close racing because GT3 usually does, but it just doesn't have that same spectacular nature of what DTM is and what we've come to expect from DTM, the spectacular cars and close racing. So it is what it is, but the great thing is that at least in the race room we have the opportunity to drive all forms of different DTM cars, regardless of what era we find the most appealing and the most enjoyable. So hope you enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed our kind of run through of DTM cars. We had a bit of racing this evening, had some fun races, had some pretty rough races as well in DTM style. But yeah, that was our little roundup of the DTM category cars in Race Room. We will be back very soon with some more racing action coming your way, so stay tuned for that. But until then, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your interaction. Good to have you all with us this evening. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And if you haven't yet tried the new DTM cars, or even some of the old DTM cars, I would encourage you to go and give them a try, even if it's just in the test drive mode here on Race Room, and just see what they like to drive. And I'm sure you'll have fun with them. So yeah, old school for you, Funky. Yeah, I knew you would be on with the old school. That's what we're all about. It's good. Okay, well, thanks, guys. We will catch you all very, very soon. We will try and get another video out during the week. But until next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.